All right. Hey, everybody. I hope everyone's having a good evening. I know here in Farmington it is kind of windy and cold outside. We got snow this morning, and so it's been a little bit breezy outside. Good day for me to stay in and create cards. So again, if you guys are here, just please type in the comments that you're here, so I know that you're here. And we're going to get started pretty quick on this because this will take me a while to show you. So tonight, what I'm doing is I'm going to be showing you how to use both masking and an embossing technique that I discovered not too long ago. And I created, let me grab the card here. I created this really cool card. Don't know if you guys can see that very well with this technique. Let me see if I can get it closer because it's actually quite detailed. So I don't know if you can see that. Anyway. All right, so again, when you get here, just go ahead and chime in so I know you're here. And again, I will try to answer questions as I go. I do sometimes get my head down and I don't see all the questions. But first off, I want to show you the 3 stamp sets that I'm going to be working with tonight. Hey, Mel. So glad you're here. So I'm going to be working with the Snow Front. This is all of these are in the holiday catalog. Hey, Susie. And then this was actually a Hostess one, Greatest Part of Christmas, with all the really cool sentiments. And then Nature's Beauty. So these are all of the ones that I'm going to be using tonight. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. So the first thing that I did, and I'm going to just use the piece of paper that I used before, was I just took a piece of copy paper and I used the layering circle dies, which are these dies right here. And this one goes right here, and this is the size that I used for this. So I basically just kind of cut out, put that on there, ran it through the Big Shot, and cut that out. I'm going to be needing that a little bit later, so let me show you that. Okay, so basically the way we start this out is you're going to take your cardstock, and I just kind of, this is cut just a little bit bigger than my cardstock, so I'm just going to put that down, and I'm actually going to use some washi tape to keep the top part intact where I want it, and I may go ahead and put some at the bottom as well, just a way to keep this nice and still. Then I'm going to take, after I've done this, I'm going to take a Post-it note and my paper snips, and I'm actually just going to kind of cut a ridge. So that's just kind of, that's my ridge. I don't know if you guys can see that, where I should have used color. So I'm going to take that ridge and I'm going to just place that on the paper like so. And then this top part that I cut out, I'm going to take my 3/8 inch circle punch and I'm going to punch out a little circle. This is going to be my moon. And I'm going to put that, let's put it up high, a little bit higher, right there. Okay, now some of you have probably already done the masking technique, but it's both of these techniques together that it makes this card so really neat. So I'm going to start out with my Night of Navy ink and a sponge dauber. Now you can, some people use brushes, some people use sponges. Whatever you're the most comfortable with is what you'll want to use. So I'm going to go ahead and get some ink on this, and then I start off the page, and then I just kind of go onto it. I'm going to cover that moon and get that in there. And then as you see, I let it be a little bit lighter at the bottom. All right. So that's the Night of Navy. And I don't know about you guys, but I do label all of my stuff. So I have my Night of Navy actually labeled. This is looking a little blurry. I hope it's not as blurry for you guys as it is for me. All right, so then I'm going to take, in this stamp set, the Snowfront stamp set, I'm using the 2 Littlest Trees. And so here's my first one. And I'm going to get that Night of Navy ink back out. And I'm just going to take this, and I'm not going to stamp the whole tree onto it. I'm just going to stamp the top edge. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to stamp it. And I'm just kind of following that ridge line is what I'm doing. And then I'm going to stamp off and do some second generation stamping in there, kind of between each of those trees. Now the other one I used, I stamped it a little bit differently. So tonight I just wanted to play and do it with this. Oops, I forgot to stamp off. Okay, so then I'm going to, once you have what you like in there, sorry, I always clean as I go because I don't like my stamps to get really nasty. So the next step is to take your, take that, and then I'm just going to kind of move it so that now the bigger side is, now the last time I did 4 different levels, this time I'm just going to do 2. So I'm just going to move that down a little bit. All right. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer. There. Okay, and then this time I am bringing in the Blueberry Bushel ink, and this level is going to be Blueberry Bushel. And again, I'm going to start off the side and just, I'm going to bring it in. And you'll see that I'm okay with going over what I've already done on the top. It's okay if you keep, because basically you do want that kind of blended together. So you want to continue to blend. And as you can see, I come in on both sides. And I'm just going to continue to blend that in. All right. And then I'm going to close that one up, and then I'm going to bring in, I'm trying to remember which one I wanted to use for this one. Yeah. So this is the stamp from the Nature's Beauty. So here's that stamp set, and I'm using this stamp right here from that one. And again, I'm going to use the Night of Navy ink. And again, I'm just stamping the top part of this tree. And this one I'm not going to go all the way across. I'm just going to catch the each of the edges. All right. So there's that one. And I'm going to then come in. Oops, need to clean that stamp. Sorry guys, I'm trying to go quick, but you know, gotta clean those stamps. Okay, so then I'm gonna take this and I'm going to pull that off, and let's see if I like how much I have down here. Yeah, I think that's gonna be okay. So I'm gonna pull that off, and then I'm going to come in with Pacific Point and Pretty Peacock on the bottom here. And I'm just going to try to get like the bottom edge a little bit. So again, I'm going to come in and just sponge that in and try to get the edges. And that was with Pacific Point. And again, if you guys are just coming in, just chime in and let me know you're here. I know a lot of people tend to come in after I'm already done because I see the comments later. So this is the Pacific Point, sorry, I mean Pretty Peacock, sorry. And I'm just going to bring in a little bit of that teal color, again, around those edges. Whoops. All right. All right, so now I'm going to come back with my Night of Navy ink, and this time I'm going to be using this stamp from the Nature's Beauty, and I'm going to bring this one in, and I'm just going to, again, just come in on those edges. And as you can see, it doesn't matter if your stamp is like perfectly, on there as you would stamp it normally. I'm just trying to get some of that foliage to come in. And then I'm going to use the grass from that same stamp set. Sorry, cleaning stamps. So then this is the grass from that same stamp set. And it's from right here. And we're going to bring in that, actually, you know what? I didn't want to do that in Night of Navy. I want to bring in the, let's see, what am I thinking? Maybe more green. So let's bring in the Pretty Peacock. And again, you guys can use any of the colors. Just stay with, whatever colors that you use, you're going to use throughout. So, you could bring in a different type, a different colored green. So again, I'm just going to stamp the grass in there. And this is in Pretty Peacock. So I just want it to kind of, show up a little bit. And I hope you guys can see this okay. On my screen, it looks really tiny. So let me know if you need a close-up, because I can try to bring my camera a little bit closer if that is the case. All right, so I've got that cleaned. All right. So this is what it looks like before we do anything to it. I'm going to go ahead and pull off. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Before I do that, I forgot. So I'm also going to bring in the snow flakes. Some people like to do stars up here, so whatever you like, you can bring in. I'm bringing in the snow, and but you could also do like stars up here. That would probably look really cool. So I'm just going to stamp that, just 2 little stamps up there. So is it looking okay, guys? Can you see it okay? Let me see if I can bring it in closer so you can kind of see it. All right, so that's what it's looking like. I'll have to move my camera back out in a second because we're going to be bringing the big shot in, but I just wanted to get a close-up for you guys. All right, so then now I can pull off my little, so there's my moon. And then we're going to pull this piece off. So that's what it looks like before we use the embossing folder. So it's still really pretty, and you could still decorate this card really nice without using any type of embossing folder. Susie, I don't know what 45 means. All right, so let me bring that back out because I'm fixing to bring the big shot in. So this is kind of the trick, and I'm going to use, on this card, I used the, this embossing folder, the Swirls and Curls embossing folder. But this time, I wanted to change it up. And so this time, I'm going to use the Stylish Scroll, which again was in the holiday catalog. It's from the, I believe it's in the section with the Halloween stuff. Okay, Susie, okay, you didn't mean that. You were cleaning your keyboard. Okay, good, because I didn't know what you were talking about. So, all right, so let me bring this up a little bit so that we'll be able to see everything. Okay. All right. So this is the trick to, and I don't know if you noticed in this card, it didn't emboss where I had done the masking. And so this is the trick that I'm fixing to show you. So like I said, I think most of you have done masking before. So that probably wasn't a new thing for you guys. But now we're going to be working with the Big Shot. So what you're going to need to do is get a piece of cardboard. Apparently there are plates that actually are cut out with circles and stuff, but I don't know where to get those. So I basically just took from my paper pumpkin, this is the cardboard that comes with that, and so I just cut out that same die. I used that same die, and I just, you know, stuck it on there, ran it through, and cut that out. All right, so now, and then I'm using the Big Shot platform, and I'm using the thin die adapter. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use this scroll one, and I got to make sure I've got the right side, and we're going to stick our paper inside, line it up where you want it. Sorry, this is hard with the Big Shot in the screen. Okay, then on the outside of the folder, not on the inside, we're going to stick this in place, and you want to just stick it so that it is perfectly covering that circle. Can you guys see that? It's perfectly covering that circle. Let me move it. Oh, I got too much on the top. Okay, and then I'm going to push it down, and I'm going to put one plate on top, and then I'm going to run that through my Big Shot. And the whole reason that you want the plate on the outside is because the plate is actually taking the pressure off of where we masked, and that's what's going to stop it from embossing where the mask is. So let me pull this out, and let me move the Big Shot so I can show you what it did. Okay, so here we go, and I don't know if you can see, but it didn't put any of the embossing where the masking is. So if I turn it over, you can really see how it left that section of it blank. Okay, so isn't that cool? Okay, so now we're just going to kind of do the same thing that we did before, and I'm going to start with my my blueberry bushel, and we're just going to come in, and I know you guys have done this before, so we're just going to come in with our sponge dauber and just come in, and I'm just going to get some color on there. And you want it darker on the outside edges than you do going in. So you want it to kind of fade as you're going in, because you want it to be this light color. You want this white to kind of show around the edges. So no comments? You guys are quiet tonight. Okay. So again, we're just coming in. And like I said, I'm sure you guys have seen this technique where you emboss and then you sponge in. Okay, so that was the blueberry bushel. And then I'm going to come in with the pretty peacock. I am making a mess of myself tonight. Sorry, ladies. All right, and again, just come in and then just kind of follow that in. I might want to go a little bit farther with that because I've got a little more white than I'd like to see there. Okay, so again, we're just going around the page, and you're wanting to leave kind of a little white frame around the center there. Okay. And you can keep playing with this if you like. That one, I think the Pretty Peacock kind of overtook the Blueberry Bushel. So I'm going to come in with Blueberry Bushel again and just kind of get some highlighted blue in here. I think my ink might be a little dry on my Blueberry Bushel. That's why it's not coming through too much. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do on this, the coloring part or the sponging part, is I want to get my edges done with the Night of Navy. So I'm going to bring back in my Night of Navy. And I'm just going to get these edges, as I'm just going to kind of go around the edges and get these edges done. I don't want to go in at, very far at all. I just want to get the edges on this one. Again, if you guys have any questions, if you're just chiming in, just make sure, or just getting here, make sure you comment so that I know you're here. If you like what I'm doing. So, oh good, you guys said very cool and love that technique. Good. Okay, so then I just took, this is from the, oh shoot, I can't remember what this was from, the Everything is Rosy bundle that we had a little bit ago. I'm going to use this shimmer ribbon, and I am going to put some adhesive on the back, and then I'm going to figure out kind of where I want my ribbon on the front, and then fold that on that side, fold this one on this side. All right, and then I've got that, and then oh, I forgot, 1 second guys, sorry, I forgot to get my Pretty Peacock out. It's hilarious when I always think I'm ready to go and then I realize I have forgotten something. So I'm going to have to cut so I use the Pretty Peacock as my backdrop or card base. If I could talk tonight, let me cut that really quick. So I'm just cutting it at the 5.5 and then scoring at 4 1/4. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my adhesive again. And again, another tip is anytime you have ribbon, even though I've already put the adhesive down, I'm going to actually go back over that ribbon with the adhesive because it just helps it to stay in place once it's on the card front or in your card if you're putting it on the inside. Okay, so then I'm just going to stick this on my card front. This would probably look really pretty on Night of Navy cardstock as well, or even Blueberry Bushel. Probably Night of Navy would look a little bit better just because we have so much Night of Navy in here. Okay, and then, oh, I should have done that before I put this on here. Oh well, that's what happens when you do a live. So I wanted to do a little bit of sparkle on this. So what I did is I took my two-way glue gun. Actually, I took the first one I used the fine tip glue, but I felt it was kind of thicker than I wanted. So tonight I'm going to try this and see if I like it. So I'm just going to take that glue and I'm just going to run a really thin line, and it's looking pretty thick too. And then I'm just going to put a few little dots of this glue throughout the leaves and on the page, in the trees. And then I'm going to take this Stampin' Glitter Dazzling Diamonds, and I'm just going to, let me pull in one of these. So I'm just going to kind of pour that over that. because you know we all like a little sparkle. And then I'm just going to flick it until hopefully most of it comes out. Oh, I like this much better. Yay! The other one was a little bit thicker and this one is a little bit thinner. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but it just put a little bit of shimmer and glitter on the front. Just kind of where those ridges are. It almost kind of looks like snow a little bit. All right, and then I'm going to bring in a piece of Whisper White. And for this particular one, even though this is kind of a gold rose, I felt it kind of looked a little bit more like copper. So I'm going to bring in the Delicata inks. And I use the saying, thinking of you at Christmas time. And so I'm going to bring that in and ink that up really good and stick that in the middle. And this has to dry just a little bit, because this ink, it's a pigment ink. And because it's a pigment ink, it's kind of like our craft white ink. You do need to let it sit for just a little bit, like not a ton of time, but especially if you're stamping on inside cards, that's probably going to be the biggest time that you really need to give it time, because you don't want to close your card and then have it not do what you want it to do. So then I'm going to bring my Big Shot in. And this time I'm using the magnetic platform. Okay, so I'm bringing this in, and I'm just going to use the magnetic platform. Can you believe that I just bought new plates, but does this show you how much I use my die cuts? Because it's already, you know what, I think that's too big. I think I used the next smaller one. Yeah, I did. I think I used this one. Yeah, so these ones I actually numbered, and this is my number 2 in this one. So I'm just going to stick that on there, run it through. And let me pull that off, and let me move my Big Shot back where it goes. Okie doke. And then I'm going to bring this in. You guys know me, I loved my stitch dies. Any of the stitch dies, I love using them. I just think it brings in a pretty texture to the labels. And then I'm going to bring in my mini Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm just going to put one at each corner, because remember, anytime you're going to be straddling a ribbon, you want to try to leave enough room. I don't know if you can see that. I want to leave enough room for the ribbon to go through. Yeah, I agree, Susie. I think these new plates scar up really fast, because I seriously just got those right before my last class, and that's what they already look like. All right, so I'm going to bring my card back in, and I'm going to pull off the backing. If I can remember which ones I've pulled off, right? All right, and then I'm just going to take my sentiment label and stick it right there. And then I am going to bring in the inside card of the card, and I'm going to stamp this in Night of Navy with the stamp that says, "May the Christmas season bring you special moments and happy memories." And I'm going to do that in Night of Navy. Again, you guys can, you know, if you wanted to, you could pick a different saying, but I just wanted to use this stamp set because it's got just the cutest sentiments in it. Okay, now I can't bend over, so let's hope I've got this straight. If not, oh well. Nope. Let me turn it over and try that again. It's really hard when I can't. I'm just going to pull this down where maybe I'm a little bit more so I can lean in, and I apologize if my head comes in to the view. Of course, we all know the best way to do it is with the Stamparatus, but I didn't want to bring that into the picture at this point. Let me clean that stamp. It's good for you guys to see me make mistakes, huh? All right, so again, I'm just going to put some adhesive on the back of this, and this is going to be stuck inside. Inside my card. And again, I always try to get the bottom first and then just lay it down so that it lays down right. Okay, so there we go. So there's this one. And you know, something else that you probably could do is if you wanted that snow to be a little bit more distinct. I don't know if this will work because I don't know if my gel pens are working. But you could, there's a couple of these snowflakes. I don't think, you know, sometimes these gel pens work good and sometimes they don't. Let me see if I can find one that's actually working. Okay, there we go. So on some of these little snowflakes, you could go in with the white gel pen. And put some little dots. But you don't have to. It looked fine without. So there it is with the little white dots in there. And there you go. So that's the masking and the embossing. And here's the first one that I did. And it was using a different embossing folder. And I did a little bit more color in this one. And then this is the other one using the embossing folder from one of the Halloween suites in the holiday catalog. So pretty cool, huh? And as you can see, I mean, that only really took about 30 minutes to do. So even though it looks like you've put just tons of work into this, they just come out looking so, so pretty. And it's a pretty easy technique to do, and I hope that I taught you guys something. I'm going to go ahead and put up the stamp sets and the embossing folders that I used. So there's the numbers for that. So it was the Snowfront, Nature's Beauty, Greatest Part of Christmas, the Swirls and Curls folders, and the Stylish Scroll folder are the ones that I used to make this card tonight. So again, don't forget that if you do want to order, that is my site right there, juliebrown.stampinup.net. Also, don't forget to visit my blog at stampinjuliebrown.blogspot.com. That's where I'm going to put the instructions for this card. So if you guys ever want to look at the instructions, just go to my blog and grab the instructions off of that. So anyway, I thank all of you guys that came in and joined me tonight. I hope that you guys had a great time and I was able to teach you something. You know, it's always hard because I know that so many of you have been stamping for such a long time. So I try to come up with some new techniques to show you guys. And hopefully I was able to do that. So Susie, you like the more subtle one, so the one I did tonight. So yeah, that's the more subtle. And, you know, and think of all the different embossing folders we have. I mean, the one thing that you do want to make sure of when you're doing this technique is make sure that you're using an embossing folder like this one that covers the whole thing. Because sometimes we have embossing folders that are wreaths or don't have, you know, the design. You want a design that covers the whole the whole card front for this to work. So anyway, hope you guys learned something tonight. I really appreciate you guys being here. And I don't know, I may come in this week sometime and do a surprise. I got my my pre-order in from Stampin' Up, and so I may be doing a let me move this up. Sorry. I may be doing a reveal on some of the stamp sets and some of the suites that I ordered for the occasions. I keep saying occasions. Mini catalog. It's a new name. So I may be doing that sometime this week so I can show you guys the paper and some of the stamp sets that I was able to pre-order. I get to do another pre-order in December, and then you guys should be getting your catalogs. I've got everybody in there to get your catalogs, and you should all be getting your catalog shortly to go through and look at it. As soon as they allow me to, you know, open the catalog, I will. But for now, it's going to be just the stuff that I order that you get to see. So I may wait till next Tuesday to do that, or I may do it sometime this week. Just keep kind of watching my Facebook, my messages, because I'll be letting everybody know when I'm going to be doing that. So again, thank everybody for coming in tonight. I really appreciate, I know, especially this week because it's Thanksgiving, that everybody is so busy. And so I know that you have actually taken some time to be here with me tonight, and I really do appreciate it. So I hope all of you have a wonderful Thanksgiving and enjoy with who all you're going to be with. My whole family is gone, so it's going to be just me and Wes. And yes, Mel, you will get one. You are on my list. I'm still mailing stuff to you, even though you moved away. But yes, you'll be getting one. So you should get the mini catalog and the celebration catalog. So anyway, everybody have a great night. And I am so appreciative of the time that you've taken to be with me here tonight. And so you guys have a great night and a happy Thanksgiving.